Welcome to Inside LMG, interviews, how-tos, news, and insights into Lee Marketing Group.
Brett, a little Inside LMG as we're outside of our new office here on Highway 280 in Alexander City, right across the street from Walmart. See behind us, a new office. Got a space available over here and got somebody coming in. Glad to be here and want more people to stop by and see us here in Alex City.
Well, it definitely can, because we're about 15 feet from the road right here, as you can hear probably, and it's a great location, probably the biggest intersection here in Alexander City, across from one of the busiest shopping places and a couple of fast food restaurants here. But we're not here to talk about all that today. We're here to talk about sports marketing, sports advertising, something you and I have loved, basically since we were 8-9 years old and growing up as sports fans. And first of all, I remember when I was little, all I did was wear jerseys and helmets and play out in the yard, and we didn't have all these devices when you and I were growing up, as you can see in our hair. It's been a few years, but that's how we entertained ourselves, was out in the yard. But my love for sports just continued to grow and it's as highest pitch it's ever been now, and all the stuff that we do with our broadcasting and the things that we've been blessed to do. We want to share a little bit about that today, not about what we enjoy doing, but how it can impact the people that are watching and how it can help them in their businesses.
Brett, we started about 15 years ago, you and I doing high school football games, and isn't it amazing? And you and I talk about this a lot, and it can be a random conversation riding down the road. I don't want to throw too much out there as far as how excited I am about this time, but I am. I think this is the best time ever for people like us, Caleb Brooks behind the camera, that are obsessed with sports, to be out there in this medium. And you ask why? Because no longer are we pigeonholed in this little element where all we can do is go to TV, all we can do is print, all we can do is radio, and those that own those outlets are the only way that we can get our information out. It's not how it is anymore. Anyone can create content,
that's right.
And as long as it's good content and it's pushed on platforms where eyeballs and ears are, then you can advertise and you can promote whatever brand that it is, and it's just a beautiful time to be in.
If you have a business, the first thing you should think about is, who's going to see this and how can I get it in front of the biggest amount of people in the quickest amount of time? That should be the first thing on your mind. And then when you're looking at all these different, we're inundated today with all these different modes of getting information out, and just so much data and so much content out there. How do you siphon through all that stuff? Well, the one thing that has remained constant in this world is sports, and live sports and replays of sports. You can't emulate one football game versus the next football game. They're all unique. It's its own content. And when you look at the way sports has an impact on all demographics, not just men, not just young kids, but women too. One thing that gets thrown away in this deal is, that's just a male-driven, stereotype. But it's not. There's a lot of women out there that love football, that love baseball, that love basketball, that that love NASCAR. I mean, you think about how many women are obsessed with NASCAR out there. In the real world, at the college and all this, we have these stereotypes on careers. You look at nursing. The first thing you think of, Randy, when you and I were growing up as a nurse, is a woman, right? Because when you saw something in a book or whatever, it was usually a girl that was a nurse. Well, if you saw a lawyer, it was normally what? A male. That's not the case in 2018 and moving forward. Everybody is so wide open to everything out there, but sports is probably the number one avenue of how people are reached across all demographics.
And how are we reaching them? And the reason we're doing this, if you're an advertiser out there trying to get your brand out, why would you pick sports? Why would you pick R&B Sports Media to be that avenue for you to get your brand out there? And the reasons, and I'm interested, I'll pitch it to you, but we have changed what we do within our organization drastically over really the last 5 years. And I remember 12 to 15 years ago when we were trying to get our programming out, we had to go partner with TV stations or radio stations here in the state of Alabama, and that was the only means that they could watch our Sports Blitz programming. And we still do that, and we believe in that outlet. I believe in TV, I believe in radio, But it's wonderful in today's world that we have so many social media platforms, i.e. Facebook Live, that we do every day, that you can be anywhere at any time. You can watch our program. You can engage with our program, which is a key word out there. You can engage with us right then and there. We can watch those analytics come in and pass those along to advertisers, exactly how many people are watching, are interested, how much engagement that we're getting. And that has changed drastically from 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, where I remember you and I going, where's the world of TV going? I still think it's important.
No, it's relevant.
But I think there's a lot of stuff that's relevant out there, and we're trying to stay on the cutting edge.
Yeah, we are. One of the things that I've enjoyed the most about the different platforms that we have with our shows is the ability to interact with our audience as the show goes on. You know, we used to be limited to a phone call. If we were doing a live broadcast somewhere, sometimes we'd go on the road and we weren't able to even take phone calls or interact because of the limitations wherever we were on location. Well, we can go anywhere in the world now, and we can be linked up to everybody that wants to watch and listen to our programming. And Facebook Live delivers the opportunity to viewers and listeners to be able to interact throughout the entire program, because you used to be, when you called in on a radio show, it was kind of like, man, if you called back, you were kind of like, man, that guy right there's something wrong with him. But now, as we change topics throughout the show, you may have an opinion on the next topic and the next topic, and on Facebook Live, you can just type your comment in there and we can interact with you the whole time. Also, with a phone call, you might get a caller on there, it takes up 10 minutes. You don't want to be rude and cut somebody off. They may take up 10 minutes of a segment. Well, if you got an hour or 2 hour show, that's a lot of time that's gone, that now you have to try to regroup and try to go in another direction. If you got a full bank of calls, you can't get to everything you want to talk about. So this has provided an opportunity for the show to move a little bit more smoothly. To give everybody an opportunity that might have to sit on hold on a phone call to now be able to get their comment in there instantaneously, because somebody might be on the phone, Randy, with a great comment or a great point, they never get through to us. So now on Facebook Live, as we're sitting there doing all this, and Caleb and Luke and me and you and all of us that do our shows, somebody can be scrolling through that constantly and say, man, John's got a great point about what happened last Friday night in this, So that's the kind of things that have really, really excited me, is the interaction with our fans.
And it has, and it's grown so much over the years, and it's key to us that for an advertiser out there, what do we do throughout our programs that are beneficial to you? Well, we have segment sponsors. When we're out there doing ball games, we have score sponsors, we got halftime sponsors.
Everything.
Brett, why do you think that's important? For me, sports is one of those last things that I want to be there and I want to be engaged while it's going on. I'm not going to go back and watch this episode all day on Sunday where I watch 10 or 12 of them. No, when Auburn or Benjamin Russell or anyone that we do programming for, whenever they're out there, I want to be engaged at that moment. And I think that makes this variable, or that makes this form of advertising unique to anything out there.
People schedule their lives around sporting events. It's that simple. If you want a fact about how important or why should you be advertising on sports mediums like R&B Media and all our programs, people shape and form their lives around a football game on a Saturday, or the Super Bowl, or the World Series, or the NBA Finals, or the college basketball NCAA tournament. All of these things, no matter if you're a woman or a man or a kid or whatever, everybody in some form or fashion is touched by sports. And so that alone should tell you that I probably need to be doing some stuff in sports marketing. I need to be on some programs that I think I'm reaching not just one segment of the population, but pretty much all segments of the population.
Two more quick things and then we'll close, and we want to thank you for finding us. We'll continue to do a couple of these every week. Big thing about sports marketing, I look at Caleb back there. He played football at Benjamin Russell 6 or 7 years ago. Now whenever we go out and we do a ball game or we do a program, we push those things out, say on YouTube, and they stay there from now on. And I don't know, but I'm guessing Caleb would go back and watch an Opelika game that he played in that they won when he was a junior in high school. And I'm guessing that his family may do the same. And I don't know how long that will continue, but I look at views and I see how many are continuing to go up. That advertiser that was on there, Brett, back then, is constantly still getting advertisement today.
Never stops.
And that is so much different than any other variable that we've got out
That's
there.
exactly right. Our first episode of anything that we put on Facebook Live, Randy, you can go back and it's a what we call a living program. It's not dead. If I want to go back, that counts. That's a set of eyeballs that went back to something a year, 2, 3 years ago. And if it were interesting enough to you or it was a hot topic, you could go back and see where we were then to where we are now on a point. Let's just say with a certain coach or whatever. What was that coach and what was expected out of that coach 3 years ago as opposed to now? That thing's a living program. So it never expires. There is no expiration date on the things that we're able to post out there and that we're able to archive. So things go viral. The good thing about sports marketing and sports advertising is you're able to take the analytics and you're able to see how much of an impact it really had on viewers and on the people that are buying the advertising. Randy, it tells the tale there in the numbers.
And if you're branding, there's different businesses and restaurants here in this community that are kind of branded with our sports programming. And when they see that Sports Blitz or Auburn Blitz or Bama Blitz or the HSA radio network, depending on how viral those things go, we had a video this week that's sitting at about 160,000 views. A very simple Gus Malzahn
a spoof
that we did.
Spiff, I guess, too.
And anyone that sees that out there brands that with Sports Blitz and hopefully brands it with the sponsors that we have. And just in closing, we're sitting in the state of Alabama, here in Alexander City, right there in the middle. The programming that we do, Brett, why is it important? And just give everybody an idea of those programs that we push out there and why we have chosen the ones that we do in sports here in this state.
Well, first of all, on the HSA radio network, next to Alabama and Auburn football, the Alabama High School Athletic Association, high school football and basketball are the biggest sporting venues that we have in the state. I mean, it's not even close. And every Friday night, somebody is somewhere watching a high school football game or involved. And the state championship games, they've done such a tremendous job. And to kind of get to my point, we've chosen these venues and these avenues along with Auburn and Alabama because we know that I would dare say, and I don't have the hard facts, that 80 to 90% of the state of Alabama are going to be involved in one of those three, period. If you have a son or daughter participating in a sport, or a granddaughter that's in the band, or a cheerleader, or a dance team member, or somebody that's going to Auburn, or somebody that's going to Alabama as a student, or you're just a fan of those teams, that's why we picked this. And everybody in this state, and then outside of this state, knows about Auburn and Alabama football. And they know about sports in the state of Alabama and how rabid people are about that. So there are all types of different things that you can market and advertise and put your dollars to, but there's one thing for certain, I can promise you, second to none, you will not go wrong with putting your dollars in sports advertising. People are watching, people are listening, and people are commenting, and we can prove it to you by showing you the numbers.
And we'd love to work with you. 256-825-0197 is our phone number. You can stop by right here in beautiful Alexander City or in Davie, Alabama, where we've got another location on Highway 280, and see us. And until next time, Inside LMG, comment to us out there. Let us know topics that you would like for us to answer questions on or talk a little bit more about here with Lee Marketing Group.